That's your head.
Might need to put a notch. So that sits in the notch.
Yeah. You could recess
Put a
it.
notch on this side, recess it so it ain't gonna slip.
Recess it back.
Yeah.
So then that sits in there.
Yeah, yeah. And then hole through there.
Hole through there with the auger, and then do a peg.
You'd have to do a hole in this first, in the centre. Then you just line them up and then bang your peg in.
Yeah.
You have to make a mallet. That's again, that's a bushcraft thing that you can show. Let's just chop that off. It's spare.
Yeah, and then once we've done that, just chop that off.
Just don't want it to be too lopsided. Yeah, you always cut them a bit shorter. They don't have to be this long. You know what I mean? You just cut a bit off, like a foot off. Maybe I'd say it was too ambitious if you want to just bring them in a little bit. Depends how shallow you want the roof, how high up you want the apex. You know, like how.
I don't want it too tall because it'll stand out like a sore thumb, won't it? So I want to go with like a stealth shelter type idea. Big enough so it fits both of us in to sleep, but not too big where we've got shitloads of room and it's...
Might take a foot off.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see, you've got that much kind of, for where we rough go, where we want it height wise, about there. I can come down to this next little ring of branches and just cut it above that. About there, and take that off. There. Then you're taking that off. That'll then bring that down a bit more shallow. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now if you can see with the silky saw how the teeth are backwards facing, so they face towards me. So when I'm using it, the teeth curl back, a bit like snake fangs, curl backwards, so that with the silky saw you're not cutting on the push stroke, you're cutting on the pull stroke. So you put your weight on it and your force on it on the pull. It's a bit tricky to get used to, but once you've got used to it, hot knife through butter, hand. Oh, that smell! Yeah, I smell that. Freshly
Is
cut.
it a scratch and sniff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like
It's like lemon, isn't it?
it's like those lemon wipes that you get at a Chinese restaurant after you've eaten.
Yeah, the hand towels. Just really nice smell. So yeah, that's that cut short. We'll pop it back over there and then we'll go for the notch. Chop the top end off that and go for the notch. Yeah. Scotch-eyed auger. I just didn't cut that thick enough, so it's a bit loose.
Could make another one.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go with what we've got for now. Unfortunately, I can't use two hands. That's difficult. I'll try and go again. It's just a lot of strain on my wrist. Once it's started its own hole, you don't have to worry about it wobbling around and not going in straight. see what we've done is we've drilled a hole through the back of the round bit, which is the outside face, to make a peg, not this one but example, to come through and be knocked into the top of the one we did a minute ago. So that once it's driven in tight, they hold. They hold. So that holds into there. So we need to find now a branch that's the same sort of thickness as that, as close to as possible. Or a bit thicker, shave it down with the knives and drive it in through the back of there into there. That will hold those two pieces together, which is going to be the apex. Yeah, works well. Just need to chop the top end off that now. It's quite a good baton, that, we'll keep that. Alright. There we go, Matt's making the peg. He's just sizing it up with the end of the auger. Not far off, just a little bit more. It's got to be a snug fit. Then we've got to then make a bushcraft mallet as well. Struggling to hold it.
Hop, skip and a jump.
Needed to save me falling flat on my face, yeah. Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be good once driven through. Yeah, I can push it in. Using a Scotch-eyed auger. I think all right. Basically, Scotch-eyed auger. Search it up on Amazon. They're not expensive. The only problem was it took ages to come because I didn't realise it was a Chinese seller and it's come from China.
Yep.
So it's taken quite a while. Saying about
many different sizes, just
Yeah.
like drill bits really.
it's taken 5-6 weeks for me
Yeah.
to get that, but I'm eagerly awaiting it. It's now come and we thought, well, stuff it, we'll use it while we come on this trip.
When it comes to using pegs and dowels for increasing your structural integrity when you're building a shelter, the bigger the diameter the better, because that means the bigger the dowel you're going to be using to hold the weight of the structure.
But I also think it is relative. So on logs of this thickness, I think that auger is adequate. But if you were using any lumber that was thicker than that, more diameter, so you're talking probably what, relative to my thumb, 2 thumbs across, so you're probably talking 2, so maybe 3 inch. So 3 inch, 4 inch diameter, that auger's absolutely fine. I can't remember the diameter of that auger, to be fair, but I think it's 18 mil, I think, off the top of my head. That's absolutely fine for this sort of size lumber. Any wider than that, yeah, you would need a bigger dowel, because it's going to be holding more weight, more size, bigger size lumber, bigger dowel. So it's all relative. If you're using thinner pieces, perhaps, for example, we've got the 3-4 inch ones that we're using, then next to it we've got like a 1.5-2 inch piece. You wouldn't stick that dowel, that auger, sorry, through maybe a piece that size, because it would probably split it. You just use a smaller, thinner diameter auger. Okay, so we'll be back in a bit. Alright. Oh, and just a quick mention, when you're, especially out of pine lumber, when you're using the pine trunks, you really do want to consider debarking, which is what Matt's running down now, and just taking off all the loose bark and stuff. We'll go run over it with a knife and take more off, purely because the bark will hold water, hold the moisture, and rot the log quicker. So if you want the, what they do on log cabins, they use what's that tool used with 2 hands and the draw? It's a big draw knife, 2-handled blade, and they pull it up the length and they strip all the bark off. And they do that for a reason. And the reason is because the bark holds the moisture, rots the logs, and your log cabin will fall apart pretty quick, won't last very long. So yeah, if you want to protect your logs and your sheltering, you want it to last for any amount of time, really, strip all the bark off, stops it getting wet, stops it rotting, and especially in a predominantly wet country like the UK, which we're in. But yeah, we'll run over it more with a knife and take more off. But yeah, probably see that totally stripped when we come back, but just in case you ask or wonder why, that's why. There are a lot of people out there that don't know these hints and tips and these things, and this is why we tend to do this on the our Bushcraft channel. Just kind of explain things a little bit so people understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, in case they've never done any of this before. So really for kind of beginners, first timers, new people that are new to Bushcraft, we just try to be a little bit more informative, going off the skills we've learnt over 4 years and the things that we've done. You reckon, Matt? Yeah, that's probably kind of really what we're about, isn't it?
Yeah, sharing the knowledge.
Just share the knowledge. Knowledge should not be, you know, held onto like a pile of gold. Knowledge should be shared, and this is something that us human beings seem to have lost over the years. The older generation, because everything's automated and electric, and you know, all those old practical skills seem to be lost and gone, and dying arts, you know. So yeah, if we can pass on some of these skills, all the better. So yeah, see you shortly.